everyone's writing in like notebooks?
Yeah,
I Need to Lose 10 Pounds is a pretty funny story behind it. Really, it's nothing more than a bunch of high school kids hanging out and making a movie instead of doing other things typical high school students do. It's really started when I was about 13. Will Fort and I were making an animated show. We wrote a few scripts for that, just little tiny stuff. And then when I was getting the software together to animate it myself, I decided that it might be a lot easier to shoot subjects instead of animating them. So that's really the only reason I got into film instead of animation. I guess a musical about fat people was what came up, and it stuck.
Made a couple of very, very crappy productions that I would be ashamed to show anyone. And eventually we came to the idea of making movies about fat people.
Well, originally, Frankie had asked me to work on a couple songs for the movie, and he had also wanted me to play the part of Miguel's father.
Eventually, I just decided that Alan Damaris, who was just a friend of mine, would be great. I mean, I knew he was a super funny guy, I just didn't want to poke fun at him being fat.
Well, Frankie just has a very funny way of dealing with things, and so this film came up, and he said, Alan, I want you to be in this film. I took a look at it and I said, this is hilarious, it's disgusting, it's amazing, and I want in on it.
He's actually so much more exuberant and just way, way crazier when he's not Miguel, when he's Alan.
You learn that one of the things you're going to have to do, a lot of movies you have to be prepared for the makeout scene, you have to be prepared for this, you have to be prepared for that. Frankie was like, we're going to have you puke today. And I was like, what, I gotta stick my finger down my gullet and throw it up? I made the stupid ass suggestion the first time of saying, oh, let's do cream of mushroom soup. That looks so much like puke, your own mother would slip on it in the hallway and go take a shower. I don't know if anyone out there has ever put cream of mushroom soup in your mouth. Concentrated, mind you. It's disgusting.
So I started rewriting it with John at the time, and then eventually Corey Huntington, who ended up playing a lot of roles, he came in.
I mean, when Frankie and I write together, we hardly have suggestions that the other one says, oh no, it's not good. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but...
Probably his most useful asset to the team was his writing. We were able to really bounce back and forth and get someplace with that writing once he came on the team.
It were a lot of points in the script where it would be, I'd look at what it was written in and I'd say, that's really funny, but in the midst of the film it would come out and you want to say something different. So I would. And Frankie a lot of times would freaking drop dead laughing.
You're a very lucky boy, young man, because everybody in town pitched in and gave you the fat you lost.
What did they... Well, why in the world would they do that? I was thin.
Usually I only improv because I forgot the lines, unfortunately.
Whenever they get a chance to, whenever something pops in their head of a different way or even just an entirely new way of doing a scene, I'm very open to that. And I really love when actors decide they're going to take sort of a more active part in the writing of the scene.
There's a lot of places in this film where you can and probably should improvise, and it made a lot of things funny. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I bet if you listen to Frankie in the commentary, he has a very good memory for these things. He'll probably recall exactly what was improvised and exactly what wasn't. Much
more often you'd have Alan say something like, basted with the cake, the blood of whatever the hell the line is.
Victory is the cake that I eat now, basted with the blood of you as its frosting.
Improvisation is key to comedy, but you can't do it if you're a retard.
You can do a lot of things without a substantial budget, but one of the things that becomes very problematic is location shooting and getting locations for free or very little money.
The most memorable thing about that was that it taught us all how to lie.
And we had to do a lot of location scouting and securing spots to shoot things like the supermarket scene or the pharmacy scene, just kind of pitching an idea to people that would probably not like the idea if they actually saw it on screen.
The movie really kicked my ass because between doing the amount of schoolwork that I was doing, I was taking a lot of AP classes, I was applying for colleges. I had a lot more going on than just this film.
Motherfucker!
It just never felt like it was going to end up getting done, because once you filmed a really huge scene that you were very, very proud of, you realize that only took up 5 minutes of what eventually will become a 90-minute film.
Only like 10 people are going to see this anyway.
One of the phrases that pops up a lot when you're doing a B film like this is cult classic. Do you guys think it's going to become a cult classic? I'm certainly not speaking too soon on that.
Well, I certainly hope it doesn't end up back in England with my mum seeing it.
My hands are tied. Fucking bitch.
I never thought that the movie pushed it too far, and we, being those that worked on the film, certainly never thought so. It wasn't until other people started seeing it, people outside of the production, and we started seeing their reactions, and we were like, okay, maybe some of it is a little out there.
Did we push it too far? I don't know. I mean, I always was really worried because people told me, if you're going to get this distributed by a low-budget independent film company, you're going to definitely need some tits and gore. And we have very little, we don't have any tits, and we have very little gore. So, I was always afraid that it was actually way too toned down.
There's always crazy shit that happens, and it's stressful when stuff like that happens, but it's just kind of fun because you can laugh at it and work on the movie despite that, and that's a lot of the fun in making a guerrilla movie like this.
I say, this film has been one right bloody good bit of cheerio. Toot to the loo, everyone right whiz-bang on the tail end, Charlie. One no wonder. Turn it right on the top. I tell you, better than a chip buddy hop the chips, tap a fish. It's better than a trip down the English Channel, hop over the board. I tell you, it is so bloomin' cheesy. One right shunny bloke he is.